What up, y'all? Welcome to RTB Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moore. We're here to talk Kansas, baby. Let's go. Hope your weekend was good. I enjoyed playing 18 holes of golf this past weekend with my brother-in-law. That was good. If you see my main channel, not my main Instagram channel or account, I post a lot of my time at the driving range. Been going to the driving range a lot. Really, for some reason, enjoying playing golf. I didn't enjoy it as a kid, but now for some reason I want to get into it. I bought a used pair of clubs and just working on my swing. I really enjoy it. It's fun. You gotta add some balance to it though. Can't let golf consume it. You can't let this thing NASCAR consume it. You got a life to live. You can't let your identity, be, a sport or a hobby, but a passion, I guess you would say. And also another thing, a goal when I play golf is not to go broke doing it because, I can get really carried away with swinging a golf ball, off a tee. So I gotta control that. Also, I gotta control my spending when I go to NASCAR races too. Spend too much going there and doing that kind of stuff. But they're all fun. It's so much fun though. You can't control it. Well, I can't control it. I should control it, and there's no excuse exactly to control it. But yes, golfing with NASCAR, man. NASCAR, baby. Hey, I also got, instead of just water, I got sparkling ice, baby. Classic lemonade flavored sparkling water, zero sugar, vitamins and antioxidants. Holy crap, I just butchered that word. But it's got a little carbonation, so, when I need a drink of water or a drink of a liquid, I got myself some sparkling ice, baby. Only 5 calories too, man. Come on. So, cup race. Track race, no Xfinity. Xfinity has a 2-week break. This is their first week off. They're off for the All-Star race, and they'll be back for Memorial Day weekend. Bye-bye at Charlotte. So the cup race, let's get right into it. Half an hour of podcasting. Let's go. Maybe a little bit more. So, cup race, there were 7 cautions for 37 laps. Race was around 3 hours and 5 minutes. Margin of victory. Winner was Kyle Larson. Was 0.712 seconds. Come on now. Yeah, Larson was the class of the field. I believe he led 221 laps of this race. There was a lot of stats I wanted to read off with Larson. Larson has officially has led the most laps during the next gen era. Has led the most laps out of any driver. Over 1,300 laps. He's led at 1.5 mile tracks. This is all from NASCAR Insights I'm reading here. Larson's third win in 12 races is the quickest in a season Larson has ever won 3 races in a season. So Larson already really off to a super fast start, which not surprising. It's Kyle Larson. There was another thing I thought I saw. Okay, this one. This one's kind of wild. This from Dustin Long from NBC. Consider this. In 3 races since Bristol, Kyle Larson has scored 165 points. William Byron, who was leading the points at Bristol, has scored 88 points. Larson has gone from 42 points behind Byron after Bristol to leading Byron by 35 points after Kansas. Yeah, Larson's on a tear. It's kind of crazy how much points he's made up on Byron. And, how little points Byron has scored. Well, 88 points since Bristol. I forget what race Bristol was in the total order of races. But yeah, Larson was super fast. I saw this thing from Auto Racing Analytics. If the entire 265 laps at Kansas had been based on Auto Racing Analytics' new optimal lap model, this is roughly where the fastest 7 cars would have finished on track. According to him, Larson would have been on the lead lap, and Christopher Bell, who finished second, would have been a lap down. That's how fast Larson was, according to Auto Racing Analytics. So there's some cool stats from this race. Now look, the title of this episode is going to be called Kansas What Could Have Been. Because like I've been saying, I'm harping on, Larson dominated this race, but I think his best competition had issues. I thought Chase Elliott was better than Larson, especially at the end of Stage 2. He was able to take the lead off pit road and lead the beginning of Stage 3. We saw Brad Keselowski Pass Larson. Pass Larson for second. Larson fell back to third. Here came Brad Keselowski charging towards Chase Elliott. Blows a tire. I believe it had to do with low air pressure that was early in the run. Not as aware. And then, after that, we saw, there was a caution, and then there was a pit stop later after that where Elliott lost the lead through pit stops. I think he lost the top 10 too. And that ended Elliott's chance. He was never able to get back to the front, and Larson was able to regain the lead. And then we had a bunch of cautions at the end there. We had a bunch of cautions, like, 3 or 4 in a row, that then led to a bunch of restarts. But Larson was able to control the lead through those restarts, and then the final restart of the day, he took the lead and set sail for the rest of the race and won the race. You also could have said, his teammates. I know Alex Bowman was really fast. I think he finished top 5 in this race. I'm not exactly sure. He got in the wall. Other drivers, he was really mad at other drivers. William Byron got in the wall earlier, and he said he had speed. So there was a lot of drivers that, if they all had issues, they could have, threw a challenge towards Larson. I did want to bring up, beginning of this race, good old AJ Allmendinger. He blows the engine on lap 8, I believe, and he was livid. That's what he said on the radio. Hey, ECR, you guys effing suck. What the F, you guys? Yep, so ECR is the engine provider for Calling. ECR stands for Earnhardt Childress Racing. The CEO of ECR is Richard Childress. He owns and runs RCR Racing. The Earnhardt part of ECR is a way to honor Dale Earnhardt, who was a guy who raced for RCR, and as we all know, is the Intimidator, one of the greatest race car drivers, and one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest race car driver ever, just based off personality. So they run ECR. So that's Richard Childress' engine company. And guess what? Calling, they have an alliance with Calling Racing. No, Calling has an alliance with RCR. So, a lot of the things that make Calling go fast has to do a lot with the RCR. RCR giving them a lot of information, and their RCR's helping prepare their engines. So it's not a great look as if you're calling an AJ to go and attack your engine provider like that on the radio, but I do think there's a responsibility that I don't think as an engine manufacturer you should be having the engine blow up on lap 8 of a race. So I think there's, bad luck for both sides. I assume they're going to talk about it, and I assume ECR will hopefully figure out what allowed the engine to blow up on lap 8, and both sides will learn from it, and they'll move on. But definitely a great highlight of the race for sure. But yeah, I talked about Larson. I don't know what I talked about, but yeah, Larson won both stages, was a dominant car. And in stage 3, I did bring up how Brad Keselowski, he blew a tire. It was after the restart there. Elliott won the race off pit road. He was leading. Brad passed Kyle Larson. He was running. He was hauling the mail. Keselowski was hauling. As a Brad Keselowski fan, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the day. Brad's like 32nd in points. Has no chance to make his way into the playoffs on points. Needs a win. He's hauling the mail. He's faster than Elliott. And then all of a sudden, a flat tire, boom, smacks the wall. Done. It's over. And it was on air pressure. So, I think, Brad, the team was trying to be aggressive. I don't really know. I don't exactly know. They must have knew what they were doing there. But they paid for whatever they did. We saw 3 cautions. I'm trying to remember. We saw Suarez and Ty Dillon, Cody Ware. They got tangled. We had like 3 restarts in a row with Rex. We saw one with Kyle Busch. He got bumped from the passenger side. He went spinning in the infield. That was because it looked like, I believe on the replay, it showed Josh Berry sending it 3 wide in between Ross and Noah Gragson, and Noah Gragson trying to give Josh Berry room, and Noah came down Busch, and Busch was mad about that. He was really bad, and that's what he had to say about it. They're all effing clowns, every single one of them. Kyle Busch ever being told what caused him to spin. So, yeah, that was another great radio highlight. Another thing from Kyle Busch that was a highlight during the race. I think he was trying to pass like Bubba Wallace for 11th. And he said, uneffing believable. This car sucks so bad. Thank you, NASCAR. So, Kyle Busch taking a jab at NASCAR, man. Look, man, I'm very opinionated towards, I love NASCAR, but I just get frustrated with a lot of the things, NASCAR's done and says, and their car, I can't stand this car. I think it's just is not put on racing. I mean, put on a couple of good years of racing, but right now we're having this issue with dirty air. And I watched that battle when Kyle was trying to pass Bubba. Bubba would just air block the crap, take the air away from Busch, and he would just lose momentum. Lose Bubba, come back to Bubba. Bubba air blocks Busch away, take the air away, and that was just frustrating. I think that's what also Busch was frustrated about. One thing I didn't want to bring up with Kyle Busch, I know we're in the middle of talking about this race, but Kyle Busch was bringing up how he could have had, was trying to do Indy 500 in 2017, had M&M sponsorship, and then Joe Gibbs told him, no, 2017, M&M's Kyle Busch, Indy 500, and Joe Gibbs Racing, or Joe Gibbs himself said, no, he can't race it. And then Kyle Busch also talked about that he was going to race the Indy 500 with Arrow McLaren, had a sponsor. He didn't tell us the sponsor name, but I guess Arrow McLaren wanted the sponsor to pay for the actual car, the Indy car for the 500. And I guess the sponsor didn't want to do that. And I guess they couldn't get a deal worked out. And then Kyle Larson swooped in and took the deal. So we could have saw Kyle Busch in the same position that Kyle Larson was in the last Indy 500. And all of that was from Actions Detrimental. Kyle was on Actions Detrimental. That was an incredible podcast, I will say. That was awesome. You guys got to listen to that on any podcast platform or YouTube. But I thought I'd bring that up. And then we saw one more big wreck. I believe we saw Corey High making his first start this year in the 67 for 2311. He got in the rear quarter panel. He got into the 7 car, exiting turn 2, the 7 car spot. He collected the 23 and went over other cars, and that was a bad look there for Corey. He caused that wreck there. Took out Bubba. That was not great for Bubba. I'm trying to think how he finished. I think he also did Bubba wreck out in Texas, I believe. I'm trying to think. I think he did. Yeah, Bubba was involved in a wreck last week in Texas too. So not great for Bubba recently the past 2 weeks, but both I would say not by his doing. But yeah, that was really the 3 wrecks there, the 3 big wrecks that we had there. I was worried we were going to have this big, that was like 60 laps ago. Like, oh man, it's never going to stop. Cautions breed cautions, you know what they say. But then Larson had that restart there, and no cautions happened. He was able to smoothly set sail. Looked like he was a little slow at the end of the race. Had some tire wear happen there, and I think Bell was going to run him down within a second. But then there was not enough laps left for Bell to get to him, and Larson won the race. So let's get into our finishing order here. Larson wins the race, 3rd race of the season, led 221 laps. Christopher Bell finished 2nd. Solid day for him. Just stayed in the top 10. Ran his race. Good finish for him. Ryan Blaney 3rd. Another fast car. Good finish. Chase Briscoe. I don't know if this is like one of his first couple of top 5s of the season. Might be his 2nd top 5. I know he had one in Homestead. Finishing 4th. Good day. Alex Bowman 5th. He was freaking livid with like Ty Dillon, Denny Hamlin. He was probably mad at Zane Smith, pinched him against the wall. Yeah, Alex was livid this race, but still comes home in the top 5. But who knows? Like I said, if Alex doesn't have those issues and damage, does he compete against Larson for the win? We'll never know. 6th, Josh Berry, good run for him. Ryan Preece, another top 10. Another top 10 for Chris Buescher. 2 RFK top 10s. Joey Logano, 9th, good run for him. John Nemechek, 10th. That's a good run for him. Austin Cindric, 11th. 12th, Todd Gilliland. 13th, Corey Heim. Corey Heim did cause that wreck we talked about that had Bubba Wallace involved, but still coming home 13th. It's good for him. Noah Gragson, 14th. 15th is Chase Elliott. Like we talked about, Chase Elliott probably was the best car. I thought Chase Elliott was better than Larson, but a pit crew mistake, a slow stop, causes, I think, Chase Elliott a chance to win this race. 16th, Zane Smith. 17th, Tyler Reddick. 18th, Ross Chastain. 19th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 20th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 21st, Kyle Busch. 22nd, Austin Dillon. 23rd, Michael Badan. 24th, William Byron. 25th, Cole Custer. 26th, Carson Osavar. 27th, Riley Herbst. 28th, Ty Gibbs. 29th, Jesse Love, making his third start in the Cup Series this season. 29th there. Cody Ware, 30th. Justin Haley, 31st. 32nd, Bubba Wallace. 34th, Daniel Suarez. 35th, Ty Dillon. 36th, Denny Hamlin. Didn't want to talk about Denny Hamlin here. So I guess his clutch broke, had no clutch. So every time he went down the pit road and got stopped, he had to like put the car in first gear or rev the engine up and then put the thing in first gear quickly and he destroyed the gears. That's what Denny Hamlin kind of talked about. So that's why he ended up losing. I think the gear was snapped in half or whatever. He lost power. So fast car, but a clutch I think cost Denny another chance to also compete for this win in my opinion. 37th, Brad Keselowski. 38th, AJ Allmendinger. So that was the running order. That race. The ratings from this race. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. FS1 got 2.3 million viewers for Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series Advent Health 400. That's at Kansas Speedway. Slightly up from a 2.2 million viewers from last year's event. Now, last year's spring Kansas race, where we saw their closest finish in NASCAR history, was delayed, started later because of rain. So who knows how much of a difference that would have made in viewership if it was an increase for this race or not. Look, I know a lot of fans. I saw a lot of people critical about Kansas and their attendance. It did look like the grandstands were half full. Didn't look great, especially when there was nothing really going on in Kansas. There's no football yet. I don't know, how big the baseball and I don't know how good the baseball team is this year, but definitely for what the race we saw last year and not to see a full house, is a little disappointing. I don't know the reason for that. Maybe people are just seeing that this race car doesn't put on the best racing. Really, I don't know. But Fox. I saw some stats. Fox Sports averaged a 3.3 million viewers for 12 races in its NASCAR Cup Series package this season, flat compared to the 2024 package. Prior rights deal, which had 16 races. Cup Series across Fox FS1 did see a 7% growth among adults between 18 and 49. That's going to see a 7% increase in the 18 to 49 demographic. That's a younger generation. And I think a lot of that has to do with NASCAR Full Speed, and I would say NASCAR's presence on social media has also, I think, done a great job. So, you need your younger fans to help to want to watch NASCAR. That's how your sport's going to continue to grow or continue to have these massive numbers. Because it sounds like most of NASCAR's majority of the people that are watching the races are over 50. But yeah, I think overall, I think Fox this year has not been I think the same mold. I think the booth with Clint and Kevin and Mike has been at times boring. Their energy level is not there. I don't know if they really do a good job of feeding off each other. The camera angles at Fox is somewhat bad. Just a lot of decisions that Fox makes isn't great. But I will say I feel like we've seen a lot less full screen commercials, a lot more side by side. So that's one thing I'll say is good to see. It's good to see. That was the Fox portion. But also, I guess don't forget about this. Bob Proctor's reported that the new Fox One streamer will include all Fox programming in the one platform. So Fox One is now Fox's official streaming platform. Every TV company, brand, whatever you want to call it, has a streaming platform. And now Fox has theirs. So I guess if you love Fox so much, you should get Fox One. But now it'd be nice to have this. It won't really be a big deal to me. I watch everything on YouTube TV, which is its own streaming thing. But it's nice to see that Fox is officially getting their own streaming platform. So that'll be good to have. So if fans want to watch the race, let's say fans don't have cable, or let's say they just want to they just have their phone, right, or iPad, and they want to watch the race. Well, they get the Fox One app, and they can watch the race off their streaming service. So I think that's all great. All right, so the Cup race, I voted it was a good race. I voted it was a good race. But look, I still think Dirty Air was a big factor. I'm trying to figure out where I put yes. On the Jeff Clark poll, 58% of the votes said this race was a good race. And this was lower. I think last year's race, I'm trying to think, was above 80%, and this year was 20% below 80%. And look, man, I think this race, what frustrates me about this race, I think the NASCAR media does a good job of hyping up a race to make it feel like, oh my gosh, we're setting ourselves up for another great race, another great finish. Bristol this year, we thought we were going to get that tire wear, never got it. We're thinking we're going to see a race that we saw last year at Kansas. We didn't see that. Dirty Air was a factor. One guy dominated. But look, guys, I'm not mad that Larson dominated. I saw Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson both. Because fans have been really critical about the racing, and they keep, every time Larson's dominated, they're saying it's a bad race. And even people at Sirius XM and any NASCAR show, anyone that's getting paid by NASCAR tries to make thinks the fans are complaining that it's a bad race because of the domination. Larson dominating was not making it a bad race. That's just one car. It's everything else behind Larson that doesn't make it a good race with the dirty air and less passing. Tire wear did make the race better, but it didn't make a big enough difference because you still saw cars that were not better than the cars that were trying to pass them. A not so good car could just aero block the car that was better than them, and it was so frustrating to watch on the Max in-car cameras. And look, guys, we're not going to go into it because we could have a discussion about this car all the time about what they could fix it. I did see that maybe NASCAR could consider some more horsepower, a little more off-throttle time could help. We'll see. But yeah, I thought this race was good. But it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was in the middle. It was good. It was worthy of a good. But yeah, that's kind of how I thought the Cup race was. Let me know what you thought. So, to finish this off, the Truck Series. Carson Hocevar gets the W. He led 75 laps of this race. His best competition was Corey Heim. They raced it out pretty good early in this race. But Corey Heim had some issues on pit road. And then later on, after those issues, he had a restart violation where he pulled out of the line. The cars are supposed to stay 2x2. Once they cross the finish line, then they can get out of line and not be 2x2. Well, Heim moved out of line before the finish line. That was a pass-through penalty, and that's kind of what cost Heim to kind of take his chance to win. He still finished third, but we could have saw a duel off between Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim. But it did get really fun. This race was awesome at the end, where we saw Lang Riggs run down Carson Hocevar in the white flag. I thought Lang was definitely better than Hocevar. Going into turn 1 and 2, Lang gets to Hocevar's inside of his quarter panel. Looked like he was trying to side draft on the exit of turn 2, but then kind of washed up the racetrack. I don't know if he just lost grip, but he made contact with Hocevar. Both trucks got sideways. Both were able to save it. Hocevar was able to keep his truck from getting past and wrecking. And Lang was never able to pass him. And Hocevar went on to win the race. And he did it by using one hand. He flipped off. He gave Lang Riggs the burn on his way to the victory. A lot of fans are talking about that. Look, guys, Carson Hocevar, guys, he has personality. Drivers get so sick and tired of some of the best Cup Series drivers that are just so boring and bland and have no personality. Hocevar has the personality. I saw this great thing. Dalton Hopkins, he talked about how Hocevar appears to be the answer to NASCAR's fans' one personality out of NASCAR drivers. Love him or hate him. This year, Hocevar streamed on iRacing during the Daytona 500 Red Flag. He was in a GTA-style NASCAR trailer, bought a daily driver of a Down Earnhardt livery Chevy Silverado, flipped off a driver while winning a truck race, and kissed the camera after winning the race. That right there sounds like a lot of personality, and a guy who just doesn't give a flying flick. Or a flying, what in the world am I saying? Doesn't give a crap. Doesn't care. And the one thing is Hocevar is fast. He had a pole in Texas. He's fast. He's up there. He's up front. Of course, I don't know his full racecraft is there. He doesn't, he didn't finish great in this race. Had a flat tire. He also got involved in a wreck last Texas. So he hasn't done a good job of finishing races and finishing them well. But he is fast. He does show a lot of speed. He's very aggressive. And like I said, does not care. So right now, I think Hocevar is what we want. He's I think maybe a little cocky, but he's confident, and this is how he wants to be. And I don't know if he wants to change or not. And I think fans should just, instead of complaining about him, the way he acts, they should just support it and want it. Because NASCAR, if Hocevar can start winning races in the Cup Series with this type of personality, this could be big. Of course, the fans are still got to want to, root for him. That's how you got to build a star. But it could be a match made in NASCAR heaven. Who knows? We'll see. But I love the personality that Hocevar is showing. It's great stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, I know, Lane did finish second, right? He crossed the finish line second, but did not finish the race second. Lane Riggs was disqualified. Riggs, according to what Bob Parker's report, Lane Riggs had a bed cover issue. This is what Bob typed out on his X post. Riggs truck violated rule. Bed cover material must be strong enough to prevent the cover from deflecting or sagging, and must be sealed around the perimeter of all bed panels while the vehicle is in competition. So something with the bed cover. The bed cover is not like a typical soft bed cover on the back of like my truck or whatever, or a truck you'll see in the street. It is, sheet metal. It's solid. It's, the same material that the whole body is made out of, sheet metal. So whatever they did there, if it was on purpose or not, if it was on purpose, it was meant for a competitive advantage. If it was not, it was just an accident, and they got paid for it. Really stinks for Lane, but it is nice that at least NASCAR wouldn't have to worry about taking away a win from a driver. So at least that's a nice side about it. We're in the truck race. Let me find it. I'm just going to go through the top 10 here. Hocevar first, second William Byron, third Corey Heim, fourth Giovanni Ruggiero, fifth Stuart Friesen, sixth Brandon Jones, seventh Jake Garcia, eighth Kane Honeycutt, ninth Grant Ingfinger, and 10th Daniel Hamrick. The top two guys that led laps was Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim. Corey Heim won stage one. Stage two was William Byron. Yeah, William Byron was a big factor in this race. But I think he had some mistakes on pit road. I forget all what happened to him. That race happened on Saturday. But it was cool to see Byron in the Truck Series field. He was fast, just things didn't work out for him. But yeah, overall, good truck race, I thought. Definitely probably maybe a little bit better than the Cup race. Well, guys, looks like that is a wrap on the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. All-Star Weekend is this coming weekend. There's a promoter's caution. There's, I guess, an additional 50 laps to the race, I believe. There's a lot to this race. The Pit Crew Challenge. They're using the harder compound tire of the original tire they've been using at Homestead. No new tire, I guess, from what last year's tire was, I believe. The track and the surface probably has aged, so we'll see if that makes the racing better. It is the All-Star weekend. Also, Kyle Larson getting ready for the Indy 500. So there's a lot of excitement, coming at least for the next 2 weeks with Larson doing the double All-Star race, NASCAR's longest race. So I'm excited with all that. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. And we'll see you next week after the All-Star race. Let's go. Stay tuned to more NASCAR content on all my Rolling Bound platforms. Let's go. Goodbye.